Hey everyone, I want to talk to you today about 3 emotional barriers to success. There are 3 basic emotions that are tied to someone not achieving the success that they're looking for. I'm not necessarily talking about a success from a major financial standpoint, becoming a millionaire or something like that. What I'm talking about are simple things like if you are going to give a speech, if you're going to stand up in front of people and talk. You want to be successful in doing that. Well, there's some emotions that can keep you from being successful in that. It could be you're starting a new job, you're a number of things. Anything that's something that you're trying to accomplish. There are 3 basic emotions that will be barriers to you fulfilling what you're wanting to fulfill. The first one, and I'm going to use a little chart here today so we can work through this. The first one is frustration. Frustration is a very deep-seated emotion, and the cause of frustration can be boiled down to one basic element, and that is unmet expectations. And I have to stop here for a minute and make sure I'm spelling these words right. Expectations. Okay. Unmet expectations. Looks like I'm writing catty corner there. For example, you are working on a computer program and you are doing everything you know to do, and you're hitting enter and it's not doing what you're telling it to do. Your expectation is when you hit enter that it will do whatever it's supposed to do, but it's not doing it, and so that creates frustration on your part. When you're trying to put something together, you're trying to build something, you are you've been given a process to work with, and it's not ending up like you want it to. Somebody gives you a recipe, and you're trying to make some cookies or something, and the cookies don't turn out. There was an expectation there that the cookies would turn out right, but they didn't, and so you get frustrated with that. And so our first thing we want to talk about is frustration, and then our second one is confusion. Confusion. While it is a mental thing, it is also an emotion. Confusion, again, when you boil the root cause of confusion down, you come to one particular thing, and that is a lack of understanding. That sounds pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to dig into it a little bit. Confusion. The cause of it is a lack of understanding. If I say, I give you a task, I'd like for you to go do this, but you don't understand how to do the task, you are going to be confused. You're going to feel that sense of lostness. Your mind, you're thinking all kinds of different things. If you're going to go somewhere and you don't have clear instructions on how to get there, we are confused. We say, I'm confused, I need a map, I need somebody to tell me how to get there. Confusion will keep you from accomplishing what you need to accomplish. The third thing, we have frustration, confusion, and the third one is anxiety. Anxiety. Big old ugly word. We don't like anxiety. Again, take all the things that can cause anxiety, factor them down to one thing that would describe source of anxiety, and that is simply feeling overwhelmed. Make sure I'm spelling this right. I think it is. Feeling overwhelmed. Give an example. Easton, my son, when he starts to do his homework, he looks at these 4 pages of math problems and spelling words and all this stuff, and wow, that looks like a lot of work to do. And because he sees it as a lot of work, he feels overwhelmed by it. That creates anxiety. Other people, when you go to clean your house, I've heard Kelby say things like, where do I start? Of course, for her, if y'all know her, the house is never out of order anyway, but maybe it's not the way she wants it to be, and so she does a very good job of cleaning her house. But like the boys, if they mess up their room and we ask them to go clean their room, it's like, oh, no, I can't do this, it's too much. When it's not too much. It's just when they see their room and they see that, toys are laying everywhere, whatever's laying out, it feels like it's overwhelming. Like, I can't do all of that. And so you have this sense of anxiety that comes upon you, increased heart rate, kind of panicking, things like that. And I could use a lot more examples, but we'll just stick with those. So again, we have 3 emotional barriers, 3 things that will stop you from being successful at something. Okay, let's talk about again the first one, frustration. Unmet expectations. How do you overcome that? How do you overcome that feeling of frustration? Well, first thing you got to do is you got to reevaluate your expectations. Either you got to reevaluate your expectations or reevaluate the process that's being involved with coming up to that. For example, the expectation was these cookies should taste like chocolate chip cookies. They should look like chocolate chip cookies. But they don't, okay? Is it the cookie's fault? Probably not. It probably has something to do with the process. Somewhere along the lines, you forgot the baking soda, or you cooked them for too long, or you did something that didn't go according to the process. And so to eliminate frustration, you got to start over. You got to go back and say, okay, I got to reevaluate the process that was involved in this and see where I might have messed up something. I need to go back and readjust my expectations. Did I expect too much? Did I not expect enough? A lot of times for yourself, people can be frustrated with themselves. Maybe they're not accomplishing something like they should, when in reality they're expecting way too much out of themselves. Is it realistic to expect straight A's out of every single kid? That's debatable. A lot of people say yes, some people say no. But if you expect every single child to get straight A's, then you must make sure that each child is in a process that helps contribute to that. You can't just get mad and frustrated and say, well, they're all a bunch of dummies if they don't all get straight A's. That's not reasonable. And so you got to go back and look at your processes, and you got to go reevaluate your expectations. The second one, confusion. A lack of understanding. Okay, this is about as basic as I can get. To solve confusion, get understanding. If you don't understand how to do something, don't try to do it until you understand how to do it. If you don't know how to drive to St. Louis, don't just take off in any direction until you get understanding of the roads you need to take to get to St. Louis. If you can't seem to get the understanding from maybe someone that's giving you responsibility or a task, then you need to do whatever it takes to get understanding. Do research. Do your own research. Study the Word. Ask questions. Please ask questions. We must have understanding. And then the third one, anxiety. Feeling overwhelmed. How do I overcome this anxiety of feeling overwhelmed? And long story short on this one, it boils down to you have to redesign your processes into very small steps. If it's doing the homework, okay, well, let's just do the first page. For Easton, let's do one page. We can take a break, come back, do the next page. Take a break, come back, do the next page. You have to break it down into incremental steps. For example, if you've been asked to give a speech and you have a lot of fear of public speaking, okay, what you need is some form of sense of control over that. Because when you feel overwhelmed, you feel like you've lost control. Okay, so you need to gain some control. The way you do that is through detailed notes. Anyone watch this video, you're going to preach your first message. You have a lot of anxiety about the message. You must have notes. I can't make that clear enough. Do not walk up to a pulpit with your Bible and say, okay, I want to read this verse, and then expect to be able to talk for 5 or 10 minutes for your first sermon and stay coherent and stay on task. It's just not possible. Like, less than 1% of humanity can do something like that. You have to have notes. Make it very clear. Make your notes very clear, very organized. This is a bunch of chicken scratch on here, but this is a way to organize things. 1, 2, and 3, number them, outline, whatever it takes. Whenever you create a set of notes and put them in a nice binder, something like this, a nice 3-ring binder, got highlight marks on it, whatever it is, that helps you gain a sense of control over the speech you're going to get or the sermon you're going to give or whatever it is. When you have that sense of control, that will eliminate those emotions of anxiety. Now, will they all go away? Maybe not. You know, I mean, if you're going to talk in front of people for the first time, that's huge. You're going to feel. I get nervous anyway. I know y'all know I can talk a lot, but I still get nervous before I preach. You know, mainly because I'm nervous that making sure, Lord, do I have a word from you? I don't want a word from Rick. I want a word from you. But anything I'm going to do, I've got to make sure that I'm organized with it and that I have detailed notes so that it gives me a sense of control over that situation so that I can proceed through it. Again, emotional barriers to success: frustration, confusion, and anxiety. You can overcome all three of them. You can overcome those things. Again, frustrations. Reevaluate your expectations and reevaluate the processes that you took to get to where you were. Confusion. The way to overcome that is simply get understanding. Learn something. Read, study, whatever it's going to take. Ask questions. And then number 3, anxiety. Feeling overwhelmed. Feeling out of control. The way you overcome anxiety is through gaining senses of control. And again, if you're speaking, teaching, whatever you're doing, you do that through detailed notes. If you're having an event of some kind and you're worried about how it's going to go, you need notes. If you're planning a wedding, you need notes. It helps you stay focused. It helps keep your flow of information, and it helps you keep a sense of control so that you don't feel the anxiety and out of control. So again, emotional barriers to success. If you have any questions about this any further, just hit me up on here, whatever. I'd love to help you. I want to help people succeed, and one of the ways to do that is overcoming emotional barriers. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.